Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Rocklaz Radio. Today is a very interesting episode. We have a professor with us, and we are going to be talking about academy, about crypto as an academy, and then we will be also learning about IT and retail, and know about fiscal terms and what all those things are. Professor has been Professor John Keating, as he's known as. His name is Darko Pavic. He's joining us from Hamburg, Germany, and so glad to be having a guest from Germany. So we get is there.
Sehr gut, super. This was really surprise. I didn't know that you speak German, so it's good. Shall we switch to German a little bit?
Ich lerne Deutsch für zwei
Sehr
Jahre
gut.
in school.
That's really great. I'm really surprised. Thank you for the invitation. It's my big pleasure to join you today. And I think there are so many interesting topics to discuss, starting with retail over Web3 and retail in Web3 over the education topics, because I think education is always very hot topic, especially nowadays, if we talk about security and all these kind of things. So that's why I'm really glad, and I hope we will both enjoy the sessions and our guys on the other side of the screen as well.
Absolutely. So, Professor, welcome to the show. Could you please introduce ourselves to the
Sure,
audience?
but give me 1 hour. No, it's not that long, so I will try to make it very short,
Lot
of
of
course. So I'm in the real life, I'm Darko Pavic. Actually, I'm software engineer, and I started my career as a software developer. Today, I'm living in Germany. I'm running my own company, which is called Fiscal Solutions, and I'm running that company since almost 20 years. So we are not startup, but we are trying to be startup, to be flexible and fast and these kind of things. And on the other side, I love computers. I love development. I'm still developing by myself from time to time, as soon as I find some time. I love crypto world. I love algorithms, web space, Web3 space. And in the Web3 space, I'm known as a Professor John Keating because I'm running some kind of education.
amazing. So, how did you get into the mutant apes community?
This is a good question. But maybe we should start a little bit earlier, let's say, because the Mutants and Bored Ape Yacht Club was a part of our strategy as a company. Let me give you just a short overview about what we are doing actually in the company. And then the move to Web3
Absolutely.
space will be logical, and then it will absolutely make sense why the Bored Apes and all these kind of things. So actually, I started the company in 2004, I think, or even end of 2003, as a software development company. And that company is producing the software modules for the big international retailers, which those guys are using if they are moving to a new country. So if we are, for example, Tata Consulting from India is our customer, and if they are opening the stores or retail business abroad in other countries, they have to follow certain laws. And our software modules are helping them to implement all those laws very easily. So they just take our software modules, they integrate it into the business software which they have, which they run usually, and they are very fast good to go. So this kind of software is called fiscal software, of course, and because the laws are called fiscal laws. And today we are serving 22 countries, and the retailers knows that, and they're of course asking us about all the new countries which they have on their roadmap. And some times ago, I think even 2 years ago or something like that, retailers started asking us about metaverse. So I was wondering myself, okay, retail and metaverse, what's that? What's actually metaverse? Nobody really knew about that, and we didn't know as well. So we started
So, your customers were asking
exactly,
you.
and this was already 2 years ago or something like that. And because we didn't know what is actually metaverse, we start learning a little bit and starting, let's say, we started talking to the people and asking what it is, what is behind, and these kind of things. And very fast, we understood actually that metaverse is first something, let's call it first something, which is very similar to the new country. So if the retailers opening stores, for example, from Germany in US or whatever, there is actually not that big difference if the same retailer is opening store in the metaverse, because he has to follow the certain rules which are existing over there, official rules and unofficial rules. They have to create a certain strategies and so on. So we understood at that moment that we have to treat Web3 space and metaverse as a part of that as a separate country. So that was the, let's say, the initial point for us to understand Web3 space as a new country for the retailers. And this means for us, for the business as well. And we started learning about that. So we created first the strategy, how to understand this space. And our strategy was actually very simple. And there were several steps. And the first step was to identify who is the leader in the space. And it was already around 2 years ago. And definitely Yuga Labs was at that time point the leader in the space, and nowadays as well. So we identify them as a leader of the space, and we decided to learn from them actually. And the access to the community of Yuga Labs was actually leading over the assets, over the digital assets, over the NFTs. So we decided to find the best possible entry point, and this was actually Mutant Ape. And we bought one in order to be part of the community. But we didn't buy any just like that, just the cheapest one. We understood that we have to create a kind of story around a character that we want to be in the Web3 space in order to learn on the best way. And tomorrow, if we want to serve the retailers, to be, let's say, in the good position to help them. So we created a story called Professor John Keeting. And people which are a little bit older like me, they probably know the movie called Dead Poets Society. In that movie, there is a professor called Professor John Keating. So we thought it's a great way because this guy has a certain ethical values, trying to help the students, creating the real persons with honor and everything, what belongs to good person. And we decided to take this character as a base on one side, and then on the other side to find a mutant ape which is representing him. And now let me ask you, what do you think? What is the major characteristic of the professors? Tell me, what do you think?
Well, glasses, gray hair,
Talking too much,
talk too much.
exactly.
Yeah.
And what is our mutant has some kind of things coming out of his mouth. Why? Because he's talking too much, like every professor in the world, on one side. And on the other side, his brain is exploding. And if you check the picture of the NFT, you will see that this mutant ape is talking too much and has a very smart brain which is exploding, because that smart is that guy. So that's why we took exactly that one to represent Professor John Keating as a character.
Let me try to pull it up. So, trying to recap what you said, fiscal was the term I usually referred to in. Okay, yes,
Yes, this is Professor.
So,
You see his warm, so what is that? And his brain is exploding and moving. And
yeah. So then this is you.
yes.
So I like the fact that you got it animated.
But you see, what is the strategy? The evolution is coming back to the ape.
Yeah.
So
I like that in that way. Yes.
So somehow we are all developing back to, to the nature, let's say, to our real nature.
So you thought it would be best to, as apes are the ones who onboarded the masses into NFTs, you thought of naming the school as Ape School, I see.
Yes, the idea was if we are already, we decided to be near to the Yuga Labs because they are the leader in the space. And then we thought what would be the good marketing approach in order to have a value out of that for our business. And even if you just name something ape, people in the Web3 space will immediately think on Yuga Labs, on apes, and so on. So that's why we took the word ape. And ape is not protected, but it's great marketing tool, and that's why it's Ape School.
Absolutely. Rewinding back to the 25 years or plus of you have done service in the IT and in the retail, the term fiscal I had heard in the terms of fiscal expenses by the governments. So, fiscal, by what you said, sounds to be more regarding regulations in different countries.
Yes.
So, you must be having a big team of lawyers in all
Yeah,
countries.
we do. We do. We have really, indeed, in our head office, we have, I think, 7 or 8 lawyers, which are just doing more or less consulting work for the retailers, how to work in those 22 countries. And then we have in the countries as well partners and lawyers which are working for us and with us to create all the technical concepts and consultancies for the retailers in those countries.
So, in the fiscal, what all things do you cater to? Is it just the taxation policy, or goods service restrictions, or what are the other things that
Yeah.
you provide service for?
This is now, I think, very important because we will talk about that if we talk about the blockchain and Web3 and so on, and because there is a very good relation or clear relation.
Parallel.
So first, let me describe what is fiscal, because usually if I'm talking to people and telling them we are working in the fiscal environment, doing fiscal solutions, people think about more financial part of the system. They think about
Exactly.
accounting, back office, and so on. But actually, it's not. So actually, it's related to the POS, point of sale, cash register, and it's related to the VATs, value added taxes. So this means the governments of the world, they want to ensure that the retailers are really paying taxes as they should, VAT taxes. And because of that, they are telling them you have to work on this and that way. You have maybe to include even certain hardware components which will control your cash register in a certain way in your business system, and you have to use it. You have to send a certain reports, you have to follow the business processes have to follow certain laws, let's say. And this small part, it's not small, but this kind of part, let's say, it's what we are covering and automating with our software. So the retailer takes it, integrates it into the cash register, and he can easily be compliant with the fiscal laws, these laws related to the VATs in those countries. And now you can imagine if we are talking about metaverse, which is actually not really regulated country, if we call it like that.
I just want to rewind a bit.
Sure.
You are talking about scale of your work. You have had work experience with IKEA, Metro,
Yes.
Tesco, and Carrefour.
Yes.
So you have worked with really big brands,
Yes.
and like it's multi-retail. It's not just retail.
Right.
So what is the range of brands do you take? Is it startups, or is it only the big
No, no,
brands
we call them
you
we
consider? Or
sure we call them tier one retailers because there is a certain categorization. Let's say tier three. These are the small retailers, like a neighbor store, like small C store in your neighborhood. This is a tier three. These retailers usually have just 1 or 2 stores in one city. Then you have a tier two retailers, which are actually small chains. They have maybe several stores in one part of the city, or even several, maybe even sometimes 200 stores, but in just one city. And the tier one retailers, those retailers are very big retailers, which have the retail stores or e commerce or everything together in more than 10, 15, 20 countries. We are serving today only tier one retailers. So this means these biggest retailers of the world, and those are, you just name it, Tesco and IKEAs and Decathlon. Tata Consulting is very big as well, and so on on one side. On the other side, the second group of the customers which we have are big software companies like Oracle, like Aptos, like Microsoft, and so on, SAP. They are taking our modules as well, putting them inside their own solution and selling it to the retailer again. So these are these two kind of the
wow.
customers that we have. Yeah.
So you specialize in the value added tax and the journal keeping and the hardware and the
Exactly.
software of the end person who is using the tools at the billing counter and those
Exactly.
things.
Yes.
That is very interesting. So as blockchain is totally related to bookkeeping and it's a ledger, distributed ledger around the world, that is a good, what do you say, uh, something you could easily adopt to and expand your market. And you, as you mentioned, a new country, a new project in that case. So
Yeah,
yeah, let's discuss how did you find parallels and how
yeah.
what all things you're doing in the blockchain.
I will tell you, it's actually very simple. I love the areas which are not regulated, where the people are still not know how to do the things, because this means you can be very creative, you can create your own solutions, and you can be, let's say, the leader in your market area. And this is the situation in the metaverse, in the blockchain related world, and in the Web3 space, if we are talking about taxations. Because, for example, today, if you are minting NFT, you don't know if you are paying VAT taxes or not. And if the government see that, they are taking the hair, like this, because where are the VATs? How to calculate them? And if you are thinking about the regions, like, for example, Europe, there are certain rules. For example, if you are running online store, and metaverse is very similar to the online store, to the e-commerce. If you're running e-commerce internet page and you are selling the goods, the items to the countries around the European Union, you have to calculate the taxes, VAT taxes, based on the country of origin of the customer, not based on the country where you are as a company. For example, if I'm French-based company and I want to run internet page to sell the items, I can do that in European Union, no problem. But if somebody from Croatia, by the way, I'm Croatian, if somebody is from Croatia is buying on that French internet page, the French company has to calculate Croatian VATs. So
Hmm.
this means the French company has to know that I am from Croatia. And now remember yourself, as you minted something on the blockchain, you are using wallet. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows from which country you are. How can then the owner of the NFTs calculate the VATs? He don't know which VATs he should calculate. And if governments see that, they think, what to do with that? you know. So that's why in the moment there are no laws which are regulating that, and there is no technical solution which is enabling retailers and whomever to implement something. And that's why it's a great solution. It's a great area for us to create the solutions.
We had in one of the previous episodes about blockchain and use cases of that. We had Alexander from joining us from US, and we had our Indian friend who were discussing both the sides about taxations in both these countries. So it's a good opportunity to know about what's happening in the European Union. So as far as India goes, there is no regulations as such. It's a straight away 30% tax on whenever you convert crypto into the Indian rupee. That's it. They are not concerned about how many NFTs you trade, are you mining, or are you whatever you're doing with the crypto. It doesn't matter. But when you try to come in the system, when you exchange it for Indian rupees, that time whatever amount you are exchanging earning, on that you pay 30% straight away.
Yes.
And for the Indian audience, whenever we are referring to VAT, this was an accounting term many years ago. Now it is GST. So what we pay GST, it is VAT in other countries.
Mhm.
So how are things? How are regulations in European Union?
There is no regulation in that area. If we are talking about metaverse, Web3 space, NFTs, and so on, there is a regulation regarding the owning of digital assets, and on one side, of course, and there is something in preparation which should be, I think, even in the following weeks or months or something like that, called Mika, which is defining how to taxate and what are the rules if you want to own and transfer the cryptocurrency from one to another. But NFTs are still not part of that regulation. So this is the next step, because you can imagine not only that identity of the customer is a problem, the first problem is actually to define what is NFT. Because on one side, we can agree that it's a digital something, digital asset, but what is it in the matter of the taxes if we are talking about vouchers, for example, if you exchange the NFT with something, Or if we are talking about services, for example, if you own the NFT and then you want to use the service of the company as a utility for something, what is then? Which kind of VAT you should calculate in that case? And in India, it's very similar situation, depending on the service or on the type of the product, category of the product that you sell, the VAT rates are different. And this
Hmm.
is another problem for the NFT. What is the category of the NFTs? Is it art? Is it service? Because it could be utility. Is it kind of voucher, which you can exchange with physical items? Or is it pure digital item like a license to listen to music or something like that? Depending on the category, you will have a different VATs. So that's why they're
Yeah.
not able to agree about, the law over there.
There can't be one general law because there are already so many use cases for NFTs, as you just mentioned. It could be a membership card, it could be an
Exactly.
asset. Yeah. So, talking about membership, I forgot to announce this in the beginning. We have launched the Rocklaz Club. You can join the club as member of Rocklaz Radio. So, I'll attach that links in the description. You can check it out and become a lifelong member of Rocklaz Club, which includes
That's great.
Rocklaz Spaces and Rocklaz Radio and many more things to come in the future. All right. Getting back to the conversation. Um, so you are the go-to people to understand or know whatever whenever the laws change, or I think you are even advising the governments on what to categorize as what. So that's a
Yes.
very interesting thing going ahead. And IT is usually in 90s it was the case with IT, right? People didn't know how to tax it. So Infosys and
Very
other
similar.
countries
Yes.
make good amount of money doing that. I mean, nobody's to stop you, so just keep creating till somebody stops. So you can look at it in that way. Um, so coming to the coming to Ape Academy now.
Yes.
What was your vision and like what? How did you want to get into the educational side of it?
Yes, this is nice story because I'm a lover of the open source actually. As I was studying in Germany, I was a part of the many different open source projects and developed certain software elements and so on. So I love that philosophy. So that's why the blockchain philosophy was very near to me. And that's why it was very easy for me personally to transfer into the blockchain world because all these philosophies which I knew from the open source world can be applied, let's say, in the blockchain world. So this is one point. The second point is as I started to learn and to prepare my own company for the blockchain and for the development of the software which we need, I started learning by myself and I included the team as well in those learning phase, let's say. We had to do everything by ourselves because my strategy was make the hands dirty in order to learn. So if you want to understand NFTs, create NFT. If you want to know how the collections are created, create collection. That's why we started doing, let's say. And in one moment, I understood that what we are doing is actually creating great value, and I decided to make it open source because I love open source as well. And I opened the internal trainings which I hold for the company, for the team, to everyone. So I ask whoever wants to join, you are welcome. I am teaching my people in the team, in the company, about blockchain and all these things. If you want to join, you are good to go. No money at all involved. It's free for everyone. And in order to motivate you, I will give you even free NFT at the end. So that's why the people were totally motivated. We organized something like a masterclass. Masterclass are 7 lessons, starting with blockchain and ending with metaverse. We'll really detailed with more than 13 hours. So it's not just like that, but it's really going deep into the topic. And at the end, people who joined me for all lessons, they received NFT, Ethereum-based NFT, and they didn't pay even the gas fees. So it was like a present for them. And on the road to the end, let's say, I gave them a lots of gifts. Like, for example, they are not big gifts, but interesting gifts. For example, 5 ape coins. Because if I give them 5 ApeCoin, they have to install the wallet. If they have to install the wallet, they have to learn how to do that. So in those classes, I'm not teaching how to install the wallet. I'm teaching how the blockchain is working, the real thing, let's say. Because I think the teaching how to install the wallet, it can be done on the YouTube much better. There are so many good YouTubers explaining very good this topic. Why should I repeat that again? But to cover these real basics combined with the business part, to show them this is the blockchain, this is how it's working, and in your business you can use this and that for this and that. This was really good. And in total, we had already 1,600 students which applied and took the lessons. Not all of them. Some of them joined just for one lesson, then maybe two not. They skipped two, and then on the third, they were again there. But in total, we had 1,600 students. And then I continued. I did the first sessions, 7 lessons, then the second, and now we are already doing the 5th one, and we are starting in beginning of May, I think 4th of May or something like that. Everybody can join. You just need to register on our apeschool.xyz internet page, and that's it. Then you join and you learn.
That's very interesting. That's just coming up. So all of you, whenever watching this episode, you can directly go and register for it. I'll attach the links in description. What are the students like? What should students expect in this course as going in? You said how to what is the fundamentals of blockchain and how they can be used in business. But I also saw there are many other options, like there were teachers training programs, there was a
Yeah.
PhD thing over there. So
Yes.
it's like a whole institute. So what all aspects should students look forward
it's
to when
not
they're
that
coming in?
it's not that complex, so it's not. There are actually just 2 group of trainings. One group of training sessions is that masterclass. Everybody can join. You don't need any kind of, there are no requirements. You don't need to have any knowledge. You don't need to have any technical knowledge. Whatever you have to learn, you will learn there. If you are a teacher, you need the same knowledge as if you are not the teacher. But if you want to teach, you can take my content, let's say the old slides and videos and everything, and you can adapt it for yourself and teach your students. That's it. So it's like IP rights. So I'm giving to everyone who is there IP rights to use all my content however they like. So if you are a teacher, you will love that because you don't have to work and to prepare everything by yourself. You take it and you use it. So this is the only difference. The knowledge that you need, it doesn't matter if you're a teacher or not, it's actually the same. So this is the one. The other group of trainings, these are the free trainings as well. For them, you need a certain requirements, but this is like the second level, let's say. After you got the basics, then I'm teaching the things which are happening daily. Like, for example, just now we had airdrop couple of days ago in the Arbitrum. People don't know what is Arbitrum. People don't know what is airdrop. What do they need for that? And for that, I create a training and teach the people. Bitcoin ordinals. Nobody knows in them, or not that many people knows what are ordinals. So I'm just now working on the training session. As soon as I'm finished, I will make the open training session for everyone who wants to join. Is perfect. But you will not be able to understand ordinals if you didn't understand the basics. So that's why it's like PhD, but it's not really PhD. It's just a little bit more advanced. Yeah.
So
So this is basically the concept.
what is the fee structure like for all these courses?
No fees. Everything totally free.
Wow.
No
And
fees, no hidden costs. But on the other side, I'm also free. So this means maybe I will not make training tomorrow because I want to touch the grass and, just to relax. So, that's why everything is free. If you want to join, just jump in and join. If not, it's fine.
Professor, I it's just been 2 weeks. I was invited to a college to give a lecture to an audience of about 100 students who didn't know anything about NFTs. So, in about 1 hour's time, I took them from what is crypto, blockchain, to how to start minting their NFTs and how to sell them. And
Great.
at the end, I also gifted them their first NFTs on the spot. So,
Nice.
Yeah, we used a custodial wallet kind of situation where they don't have to have all these wallets and things installed. They can have it in a custodial wallet and they can transfer it whenever they are ready. So this talking to you now makes me feel so happy. I can guide those students to this course, and even the
Sure.
professors and college who are interested in, probably they could start a course in the college with this, with your toolkit, which would be interesting.
This is, yes, it would be, I would be very happy to help your students as well if needed, for sure. There are some, I had a lots of professors, real professors from the universities, and then they asked me to join them in real life on the universities to make the lessons over there. And I did that as well. So there are several cooperations which I have today with the universities. And I love that because talking to students, it's always very nice because they have a totally different ideas. They are very creative. And I personally learn a lot by those lessons as well. So that's why I love that.
And their questions also make you think in many ways.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So two questions. One question is, how, what prospects do you make them, what things do you tell them to get them interested? Because they'll usually see the news around blockchain has crashed, there's no importance to
Yeah.
this. So how do you give them future aspects, prospects of having this knowledge right now?
Yeah, the human nature is something very beautiful, but very strange in some cases as well. Everybody catch the negative things and first negative things, and they love the negative things, drama. So if there is a drama, they love it, and everybody's waiting for that. And if you have a 20 good cases and just one bad case, everybody will jump on that bad case. So what I'm trying to show them the good cases. So I'm taking in each lesson which I have, I'm starting it with examples from the industry. I'm showing them, for example, what is Mercedes-Benz in Germany doing, what is Skoda doing, what are the retailers doing, how successful is Carrefour, for example. I'm showing them the business cases because then those smart guys, and they are very smart, they can imagine their own business cases and they can see, oh, this is possible. I can do reservation things, platform just based on the NFTs. Oh, I can do membership. Oh, I can rent my NFT. Oh, this is nice. And this is the way. So I'm not discussing the politics. I'm not discussing the bad situation, like what's going on and why is this like that. No, I'm putting the positive things in the focus and trying to wake up the imagination of the students. And usually they have a great fantasy. So that's why it's not that difficult, to be honest.
Wow. So fundamentally, if you see the blockchain, that power of your entries or whatever you record, that cannot be changed, that simple aspect can be used in so many places. And
Yes.
uh, people would be surprised, but all these major companies are already using in it. Tata, as you mentioned, Reliance is already doing it in India, and other
Yes,
companies in the world have been trying it out. Starbucks has done the cards and all on blockchain. So
exactly.
till they graduate, or that will definitely give them an edge in the industry when they come in to uh, implement those kind of systems for their promotional plans or whatever it is.
Yes. I can give you one story, for example, from one of the students which I had. This student is actually a smaller company, but family-based company, which is producing solar panels. I think it's the right word, for the energy, for the production of the electricity. And they wanted to learn about blockchain and everything and how to incorporate blockchain in their business. And usually, people are sometimes, you can't see that fast something if somebody is not telling you from outside, look at that, this could be created nowadays. So it's almost 1 year after that. He was 1 year before in the lecture, in the lessons that I had. Now one year later, he created a mining farm, and he don't have any kind of problems with electricity because he is producing his own electricity, to mine the cryptocurrencies. So you see the idea he created business by himself. I was not the guy who created business for him. And I even didn't give him the idea. But I was talking about blockchain, about mining, about the problems of the mining, and the electricity consumption is one of the biggest. And then it made a click in his head. Wow, I don't have this problem because I'm producing the solar panels by myself. Let's make it like that. And now he is really big miner in Serbia and making really good profits.
Wow. So it takes me to two questions. What are the NFTs still worth mining? There was a time where you could mine bitcoins and Ethereum on your desktop, but now even doing it for months doesn't give you significant returns. With the proof of stake also coming in, what is the scope of mining?
Very interesting question, because I think it's very difficult in the moment to be successful in the mining area. And I see the two biggest problems. First are the related costs, because you have to pay electricity. Electricity is very expensive. This is one big area of the problems, why the mining is mostly not profitable. And the second point is you have to compete with the companies which are very rich and which have the mining systems which are very dedicated and very big and very powerful. So if I buy now small mining rig and I put 5 machines here, it will be around 50,000 euros. So it will be very expensive. But the other guy on the other side of the planet has much cheaper electricity and has a farm with 500,000 of euros. I have no chance to be better than that guy. And the mining is actually nothing else than competing with each other who will solve the hash problem first. And if you have the better system, you will be better. So that's why I never recommend mining.
So yeah, the more hardware you have, the better it is.
Yes.
That takes me to another question. There was one chain called Chick or Click or something like that, which was based on the storage capacity, the number of hard disk you have, the number of storage you have, like the uTorrent or the torrent kind of thing. So again, that's the same question: whoever owns more has more stakes in that blockchain.
Exactly. Exactly.
So it is. What do you think about that with staking and this mining thing? Uh, does it go on becoming centralized with these bigger companies having bigger computational power and
Oh
staking
yes, this is
ability?
yes. This is a big problem because, to be honest, I don't like that this situation which we have today, because on one side we are trying to run decentralized systems like blockchain and so on. On the other side, those blockchains are running on the nodes which are mostly in the hands of one or two companies. So this means the software which is running on those nodes is decentralized, okay, but the infrastructure is centralized. So this means if they want to switch off the blockchain, they could do it like that. So this means, is it decentralized or centralized? To be honest, I think it's very centralized. And that's why I don't like it. So I don't know. I don't know. So it's a philosophical question on one side, and on the other side, if the companies are big, if they can invest in the infrastructure, they are controlling the network.
So what in the current situation people know about bitcoins, Ethereum, and Tezos for the artist. So among these three, or what are the other chains
Actually, all of
which
them.
are
So
relatively
theoretically,
decentralized?
because the first blockchain was Bitcoin, and all other blockchains were created based on the Bitcoin, just extended and improved and so on. So the basic idea of any blockchain is to be decentralized. But then there are some companies which develop the software, let's say, and own the software by themselves on that way, and that's why this is kind of centralization. So if there is a but if to be honest, the Ethereum, it's centralized as well. A couple of years ago, there was a rumor that Vitalik had an accident, and immediately everything went down rapidly. So this means the complete Ethereum network is really depending on one person, and this is Vitalik. So this means even that decentralized system is not really decentralized. Now just exchange the name Vitalik with a company name, and you will have the same situation like in other blockchains. It's like that.
But that is more like a market sentiment, right? This is the person who has created, and if a personal accident happens to
Yeah,
him,
it is.
that is just like a stock market thing, sentiment, right? I hmm. So I think the record keeping and all just stays same. It is just the speculative aspect that fluctuates, which you're calling as
Yes,
centralized. So you mentioned about Arbitrum, right?
sure.
Can you
Yeah,
enlighten
very
the
shortly. It's actually
audience
layer
on
2 network.
what is
It's layer 2
Arbitrum?
based on the Ethereum, which is trying to improve, and it's quite successful actually, to improve certain problems which Ethereum has. Ethereum has, in the moment, two big problems. It's expensive because the gas fee are in some cases very expensive, and it's not scalable. So it's not that fast. It's not fast enough for some industrial usage, and it's not scalable. Layer 2 networks, like for example, Polygon or Arbitrum, are solving those problems with a certain algorithms and are able to be more scalable, more fast, and cheaper. And this is basically Arbitrum, layer 2, similar to Polygon. There are
So
different
what are the
algorithms
difference
which they
between
are using.
Polygon and
So, I don't
Arbitrum?
know, for example, Polygon is using now zero knowledge algorithms. Arbitrum is using optimistic rollups, I think. So there are basically algorithmical differences, but for the end user, it's not that important because you don't see it really. It's underneath, under the surface, you know.
So I think for the end user, the most well adopted or the most well connected that chain is, the better it is. So for Polygon, and the Polygon is attaching, like, it has gone to places. It has
Yes,
been
yes,
connecting with Decentraland and Metaverse and places, and
yes.
it has a very good reach. So I think in that way, Polygon
I
would be
know, I
better.
know.
And fun fact, the
Yes.
Polygon chain
And you know,
started in
there
India,
are. I think there is
in
a
Mumbai, in
Serbian guy
Mumbai.
as well who was the partner of the Indian guy as they develop it. So yeah, the smartest people in the world. So very good. But it's yeah. Sorry,
What do you think? Well,
I
I was
never
saying, what
use
do you
it.
think about Tezos
I
as
never
a
use it, so
blockchain?
I really don't know
It is
Tezos. I
mostly
know that
in,
it's used for the artist mostly. That it's very good for that, but I don't know the details really.
yeah. Yeah, one in future episodes we'll have a person from the Tezos Foundation to talk about it. It's really very centered and core to artists. So when I was giving lecture in the college, I showed them images first of the board ape and asked them what is the price of this. Then then it was supposed 11 crore rupees. Then then I showed them a
Yes,
Beeple's piece. So one is a project, one is the artwork, and Beeple's piece was much higher than a single board ape. So around 500
sure.
crores. So even those things are possible. Uh, so this way I thought of attracting, but in the recent conversation, I also heard a very nice tip about showing the real artworks. Um, uh, these are digital artworks which can be owned. These are possible with Web3 only. What are your
I
views on
love this
art
topic.
space, or are
No, I
you
love this
just
topic. I'm not
into
maybe not that deep
trading and in?
into the world of art, but I generally really love art. And let me just give you an example. One of the NFT collections that we created, we prepared an in real life exhibition for that collection as well, and we invited everyone. So I wanted to taste the real life art world as well, and the combination between NFTs and the real life. And I learned a lot, by the way, around that. I learned how far some artists are from the Web3 space, how the understanding of the Web3 space on the artist side is still not there yet. So there is a long way to go. on one side. On the other side, I think Web3 space need definitely artists, because this is the, if you prepare good food, people will eat good food if it's looking good. It, am I right? So the best solution which you have will not help you if nobody wants it. And in the Web3 space, the arts is helping you to prepare the food on the good way. So that's why you need artists in the Web3 space for sure. Unfortunately, onboarding of artists is very difficult. I tried that, and the understanding is, I don't know, it's very difficult. Yes, I understand why, because they are in the different world. They are in the world of art, and they are trying to express themselves. And now somebody like professor is coming and telling them, "Hey, you have to learn about blockchain." What is blockchain? I want to express myself. I want to create. I don't care about blockchain. So that was my experience.
Even that is fine. Even that is fine. They'll even learn and adopt with
Yes,
blockchain. But the main problem for them is shilling. I don't want to
yes,
spend 6-7 hours a day shilling on and doing things which is usually
yes.
which they are not used to in the traditional style, which they have curators and collectors to do that. So that is something new. Many of them are introverts, are not really there to
But
sell. They are more on the creative
you are
side.
100% on
So
point.
I think
I,
there
I
is a
asked them to open the Twitter account, because many of those artists that we were working with didn't have a Twitter account. And they told me, why? I don't want, I don't need it. So that's what you are telling me just now. It's absolutely, yeah, on point.
Yeah, I think that will be solved. We have been working. I personally have been working with um,
This is
developing
good.
something which is more custodial, which they don't have to learn about these things. They can directly start creating and get on
Yes.
the blockchain after the things are done, after the sales are done. So once this is more simplified, it's better. It is better. So this is one of the aspect of the future. What do you think are the future potential of blockchain, and
I love
what
blockchain.
what
I love
what do you
NFTs,
imagine?
and I see a big future. Even if we are not doing some kind of mass adaptions, and even if there are no millions of users which will jump on the train and make millions, even in that case, the adaption will happen. The industries will use it, because there are so big benefits, really huge benefits for the industries, for the businesses. They will use it as soon as they recognize the benefit. They will jump on the train. So that's why I see it like an internet situation 2001. Everybody, I was teaching internet in 2001, basics of the internet. Yes. And everybody
Oh
was
wow!
very, wow, what is now, what's going on, what is internet, and same situation like we have today. And a couple of years after that, in 2010 or something like that, nobody was discussing anymore about what kind of browser you need or whatever. You were just using it. I think the same thing will happen with blockchain, and we are not far away from that.
I'm very interested in knowing what were the questions
Yes.
about internet
I
back
posted
then
even
in
on my
2001.
Twitter account a couple of weeks ago, I don't know, the contract. I found suddenly in my, some kind of archive, I found the contract which I had with the university to teach the basics of the internet for the adults. Because university was offering, especially for adults, which are already working somewhere, which are employed or want to be employed, in order to help them to jump on that new technological train. And I had to explain them everything. What is browser? What is server? What is, what does it mean? www and all those kind of things. Yeah.
But again, the benefits point we said, how to make them feel, like making them have a attraction or inclination towards it. What did you say then
I,
for
I,
them to have a more inclination towards internet?
I show them
Web 2 per
examples
se,
again, the good
Web 1 per
examples,
se.
and it's always depending on the person that I'm talking to. For example, if I'm talking to the mechanic guy who is repairing the cars, I tell him the story about the blockchain where you could write the mileage of your car without any possibility to change it. So this means he can be sure if he is buying the car to sell it again to somebody else that the mileage is right. Today, he has to trust to the guy who is bringing him the car. And it's immediately in his head, okay, this would be great because now I'm sure that what I'm buying is really what I want to buy. This is the only way. If we are telling them, this is the blockchain and transactions and mining and hash values, what? How to do that? Or what's that? Can I eat that? You know. So that's why you have to make examples because then they understand it.
uh, Seeing the current slowdown in the whole space, what are your comments on that, and
First, let's
how is it
make a
going to change?
conclusion, very
Or
small conclusion. You cannot stop revolution. Whatever is happening, even if we have criminals in the
yeah,
space, even if we have bad situations and the bear market and bad projects and rug pulls and scams and everything, even that will not stop the revolution. It will just slow it down. Of course, because if you see the rug pulls which we have, if you see the scams which are happening, if you see the criminals which are running around, of course, everybody is careful, don't want to invest, thinking twice about everything, and this is slowing everything down. But don't worry, this will change. The markets are like this, and we will again have the situation that we are in the bull market. So it will come.
so then
Everything.
what gets you most excited about
The
blockchain?
business use. I love to talk about the business cases. I love to talk, to have a critical view about the projects which are today running in the space. I like to tell them, hey guys, you don't really have a business case. Think about that. I like to help the people to think about business cases. For example, if you want to invest in the NFT, ask yourself, will this project exist in 5 years? Just this question. If you are sure, invest. If you are not sure, think twice. And this is what I'm really keen. I want to understand how the businesses are working and what is, let's say, the best model, how to model the business around the Web3.
Can you give us some examples of German use case, or how companies in Germany are
Germany
have
is very
used this
traditional,
technology
so
in
there are
different
not
ways?
that many innovations in the Germany. But one case I can give it to you. There is a project called Meta Brew Society. It's an NFT project, and these guys are creating beer. So if you buy the NFT, you are buying like a piece of the brewery which is producing the beer, and you are getting as a utility. I'm not sure how many, but lots of cans of beer free of charge. and, and you can visit this brewery, you can take part on the making the decisions like DAO and so on. So this is, for example, something which is very unique. I didn't see it anywhere in the world, and it's like a funding of the web 2 business, let's say. And I like that a lot. This is a good example. It's innovative.
You mentioned about car companies also doing this. What are they doing? You called German as a traditional business. I know it has been famous for
Yes.
family-owned businesses which have gained international recognition for special craft beers. Or I was reading,
Mhm.
I was hearing this episode on knives, chef knives, which are famous from one particular family which go to US. So family owned businesses which specialize and which are world famous in what they create. That is something that comes out for Germany. German technology is also known for technology, for cars, for its innovation, for its perfection in things. So to think of all that as traditional,
Yes.
I was surprised. So how would you? Why
Let
do you
me
think that
explain
is
you a
still
little bit the
traditional?
German mentality. And I think it's okay that I talk about that because I'm living in Germany and I studied in Germany. So I studied engineering in Germany. So I'm actually German engineer. And I can tell you even although I'm not German. So, but I can tell you what is the mentality of German engineer. German engineers are not risking. They go deep into the detail, they understand the topics, and then they create great things. There is no risk. It's just a science, that's it, purely science. And that's why they are very successful in the world. Because what a German engineer creates, you can be sure that it's science. It's good. It's stable and everything. If we are talking about Web3 space, this is so early and so on the beginning that there cannot be the science which Germans need in order to be sure what they produce is really good. But they are playing with that. They are experimenting and they are learning. As soon as they learn, we can expect lots of unbelievable, interesting engineering things coming from Germany. But it takes time. If you talk about American engineers, for example, they are like a marketing guys, we have this solution, that solution, look at how great this is, sell it, and that's it. Germans are not working like that. Both is okay, nothing against that, but there are two different strategies. So that's why you see the all innovations coming from US and from these kind of countries, and all stable technologies and great technologies are coming from Siemens kind of companies. You know what I mean? So that's why we will see the innovations, but not that early. They are learning, and as soon as they are finished with learning, we will be very surprised about the great topics.
So I really like this aspect about how deep they go for the pure science and engineering. So that's why they don't cut corners for the sake of business or marketing, and they're more into it. So maybe if you are starting a company, hire a marketing
Yeah,
person from US
perfect
and
combination.
hire
Yes,
a CTO from
absolutely.
Germany.
Yes.
Awesome. So what else do you like about the
Everything.
German culture?
My wife is German, so I have to be very careful if I say something which is not in line, with German culture. She will kill me. So that's why I love German culture. No, no, I'm just kidding. Germans are really good. I love the characteristics. You always know exactly what's going on. You have always the processes. If we are talking about the businesses, you know exactly which steps you have to follow. There are no surprises. There are no, something from the side or whatever. What you see is what you get. But really, I love that. I really love that. And I need that. And I'm trying to implement this in my company as well. I like respectful culture which Germans have. They are, for example, my daughter was working in the bakery, and the first lessons which they got as a new employee was that she should first smile as soon as customer is coming into the store. This is the first point. And second point, any kind of private discussion with a colleague should be stopped in that moment as the customer is coming into the store. And you see, these are just two very small examples showing the mentality. I'm showing the respect to my customer because I'm living from that customer, so I have to show him this respect, and this is great. And these are the details which I really really love and which I try to put in or to use in my company as well.
That's such a beautiful example. Yeah, we can learn from all of these. Like the devil is in the details, or as you go into the details, the whole experience enhances for everybody and ultimately resulting in sales. So I really love that aspect. I studied German, as I was
Great.
telling you in German. I studied German for 2 years in school. I It was on my bucket list after I gave a speech at NFT London, and after that I had planned to come to Germany, but the visas thing went a different way, so it has just been postponed. So I want
Beautiful
to go to
area.
the
Yes.
Black
Yes.
Forest.
And you have
Black
to visit Hamburg. You have to visit Hamburg as well. It's
Black
totally
for
different, but it's great. Yes.
Absolutely. So Black Forest has become a cake, a pastry delicacy in India. So a dark chocolate cake is called black
Yes.
chocolate. Black Forest cake here. I don't know other part of the world or no, but that and even the German history, and I see a lot of parallels with Germany and Japan, because after the war, there the people had to take it on themselves to grow. So everyone was very focused and dedicated to business and helping each other and getting the whole economy on track. And with that whole force, they actually went ahead of
Yes.
many of the other countries. So what are the working ethics if you talk about work ethics, what are the top work ethics do you see in
Oh, this they have a lots of
German
ethics.
people?
One of those was just as I mentioned, the customer is, let's say, you have to respect the customer and you have to understand that you are there for the customer and not the other way around. So this is very important. Another very important topic, and I'm trying to implement that in my company as well, is identification with the company. German people are very identified with the company. You know, if they are working somewhere, they are treating it like it's belonging to them. There is a no difference. You know, it's he knows that if the company is doing well, he will have a good job and he will have good salary and he can develop himself. And that's why he's, you know, treating everything like it's belonging to him. I love that. And trust me, this is not that common in the world. And the people are, some many people are, you know, just separating the company and their own life, which is fine. But at the end, it's not that easy to separate, because at the end you are depending on the company and company is depending on you. So it's like a marriage at the end. And Germans understand it exactly like that. They understand it like a marriage. And I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
So, on average, how much time does
In
one
Germany,
person spend in the
to
same
be honest,
company?
I don't know, but I can tell you about the friends which I have, and so let's say the environment which is surrounding me. I don't know the person which changed the company below 5 or 6 years. Not the one. The most friends which I have, they are changing maybe once in 20 years or something like that. Usually they are changing it after the school, because there is a special way of schooling in Germany where you are working and going to school at the same time, mostly 2 or 3 years or sometimes 4 years. In many cases, they change the employer at that moment as they finish the school, and then in many cases, they stay for long, long time in that one company.
You know why I ask this question is in Japan they treat the companies as family. Like my cousins have been there and their friends have been there and they're telling about the culture there. They will 15 hours 16 hours they'll spend with the people in the company,
Yeah.
even go for parties with the same employer company after that. So for them to fire somebody is very difficult, or eh, to have somebody new join in is gets very difficult for them at these times in Japan. But in US it's
Yes.
completely more individualistic, right? They are more focused on themselves and uh, personal advancement in career. And like this is a quote from the Pepsi CEO: don't stay at the same job for more than 3 years, keep switching, and so on. So
Yeah.
I was trying to gauge on what in
I
which
think
side
I can
Germany
talk about
lies
my
on.
personal strategy. So it's very difficult for me to say that everybody is like that, but I can talk about myself. So I'm trying to educate my people in my company that you have a better chances in your life if you stay somewhere for longer time. And I can tell you from the perspective of the company employer, if I see that somebody is for longer time with me, I can push him on a certain levels, on a certain topics to grow and to develop himself. But I need time for that. I need to see what are the strengths of that person. Is he better in this area or in that area? If I see it, I can push him. But you cannot see that after 1 year or 2 year, because he just started. I don't know how good is he and how deep is he going in some topics, technical topics. I need time for that. So if the guys give me time, I can give him back a lot of, you know. So that's why longer time is always better from my point of view.
Now
Sure.
it's time for the signature round. But before that, I want to ask you a question. Looking back at your career with an example, can you tell us what was a very challenging problem that you faced, and how did you
Oh,
solve it? Like,
I
how was
arrived in Germany without any money, nothing. So zero money. I didn't speak German language, nothing, not one word. And I had to do something with my life. I was 18,
how old were
just
you?
finished 18 birthday. So, and then starting something, finding the power, let's say, for example, to study and to work at the same time. So I was studying during the day and working in the night, not all the week, complete week, but on several days, mostly on the weekends. This was very difficult. This was very difficult. And I was thinking several times, to throw away everything and to stop it, because you are on the limits. You are physically on the limit. You are from the mental point of view on the limits. This was very difficult. But if you survive these kind of things, you learn that there is nothing that you cannot reach. You can reach everything. You just have to put your efforts, your focus, and to go for that. That's what I learned.
Wow. So, like in such a huge career, just the first steps were difficult for you. So, anybody in this listening who is in their first steps, you just cross them, and then those challenges are
Yes,
not as difficult as the
exactly.
first steps, is
Exactly.
what
And
I'm gaining from your
another point which I
what you
can give to
shared.
the people: just trust in yourself. You are not less good than somebody else. You are at least that good as everybody else, maybe even better. So trust that you are good and go for it. That's it.
Amazing. When you are one more
Sure.
IT retail side question, what tips do you have for B2B business or B2B
Yes.
marketing? Because that's
Uh,
what you are into.
don't be afraid of that. So I was first afraid of that business because everybody is telling you B2B is very difficult and it's, very special. No, it's not. At the end, these are the people. And the business is done between two person always, even if it's B2C, even if it's, I don't know, direct to customer or whatever. It's always, business is always relationship between two person. And don't be afraid of it and create relationships. As soon as you create relationships, the business will come by itself. That's it.
So in B2B, when you're talking representing a company and you're talking to somebody else who is representing a business and not just themselves, how do you start the making the relationship, like right from the cold calling phase to later on?
Sure,
Can you
I
give
don't
some
like
tips on that?
calls and these kind of things, and I think every salesperson don't like that. But what I can share with the people which are just starting now, after some years, you don't need to do that, because you gain the reputation and the customers knows that we are existing. They know what we are doing, and actually there is not that many calls that we have to do it on that way. And even if we do it, people usually know, that's the company doing this and that, and we have already good starting point. So this means for everybody else who maybe don't have this kind of years of experiences like we do, you need to earn the respect. And today it's very easy to do that because you have LinkedIn, you have social medias, and by posting the content which is showing your competencies, you can earn respect. So you should not expect that somebody accept you as a specialist in something without showing him that you have a speciality and knowledge and everything what is needed. So don't underestimate the social networks. They are a great way to show your competencies and to earn respect. As soon as you earn the respect, it will be easier to connect with the customers, and even they will connect with you because you have something which they need. If the customer don't have the problem, if he don't need you, whatever you do will not be successful. So this means you cannot create demand. This is like, from my point of view, based on my experiences, lie. Either you have the problems with your shoes and they are small and you need the bigger shoes, or you don't have problems with your shoes. If you don't have, I cannot, there's no chance that I convince you, but you need the new shoes. You don't need new shoes, maybe, so, but if you have a problem with the shoes and you have a hole somewhere in the shoes, then you will for sure look for the new shoes.
Hmm. Very interesting. So we got to find people who
That's
need
the point.
shoe
That's the
replacement.
point, my friend. So this means go there where the customers are, talk with them, ask them if they have a problems or which problems do they have. Reflect on that on yourself. Can you help them to solve that problem? If yes, you are in the business. If no, try to find another customer. Exactly. Let's
Let's
go. That's the point.
go.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So
Sure.
time for the signature questions. Name three people living or dead that you would like to have lunch with.
Ooh. Elon Musk is the number one. Trump is number two. Although I don't like what he is doing in his way, but I would love to lunch with him. Um, Number three, oh, two are more than enough, I think. Third one is
Well, you're not going
not
together
at the
with
same
all
time.
of
This is
them.
good,
It's not the same
but I would
time.
love to talk to Elon Musk and to Trump. I would like to understand those people. Yes.
And the
Third one, I have to do one.
third one. There must,
Okay,
it's okay.
living or dead. So
Living
this
or
is
dead,
good. This
anybody.
is Nikola Tesla, genius guy, genius guy. Yes.
All right. So this is the second part of this question. What questions would you ask them?
Ooh, very good question. Ellen, I would ask to explain me a little bit more the Twitter strategy because I don't understand it. Certain points, I would love to understand it. Trump, I would like to ask what is his secret because this guy has something which is real power. I don't like how he's acting, but the way how he's, I don't want to say manipulating, but somehow he is doing that. The masses, this is extraordinary. And I would love to understand how he is doing that. And Nikola Tesla, I would ask to explain me the fields, I mean magnetical fields, because I never understood them during my studies. So I think this would be mind blowing. Yes.
Wow, let's go. So Elon Musk is going to be coming to this
Really?
show on 22nd November
Ooh,
2023. So stay
nice.
tuned.
Very
Yeah,
good.
really.
Get me into the discussion. I want to ask him some things to understand. This would be great.
Yeah, comment questions that you would like
Yeah.
to ask Elon Musk. So yeah, even Trump, I have read his book. I've been following before he had become the president, and I really liked the business side of him, and with the confidence and with the firmness he gets things done around him. There was a journalist talking about a situation. Um, he was telling when I talked to Obama, I asked him how there is so much storm in the office, and even in that storm, you are so cool. How do you do that? So then, then he asks the same question to Trump. So what Trump replies is, "I am the
This,
storm."
yeah, this could be the secret, ingredient for his success. Yeah, I would love to talk to him. I would love to understand some things and to analyze it, let's say, because I don't understand lots of things that he did and doing. So I like to go, around the things and to understand what is under the surface.
I read his book, The Art of the Deal, and from that and from what we have been seeing is he never backs down. He always goes down, even
Yeah,
fighting for all his cases, and even case as in his business cases before he was president. He really does that, and he's really very confident. What I love about both of these people is their inner drive and so much self confidence they have in what they're doing and what they do. I just
yeah.
love that from both of these people. Nikola Tesla, I don't know much about that, but he didn't end up well. That's
But
much
you
I
know,
know.
we
Uh,
one important point: we
but I
would
got
not
to.
be able to talk as we are talking now without Nikola Tesla. So he is the main guy who is, let's say, guilty for the infrastructures that we are using today. So genius guy, really genius guy.
Hmm. So, what do you think? Have you studied both their
Sure,
lives,
sure,
Nikola
sure.
Tesla and
Nikola Tesla is coming
Edison's?
from the regions where I am from, let's say, and he's very famous engineer, developing lots of very famous patents around magnetical fields, around transmission of the waves and these kind of things, electricity or transmission of the electricity over longer distances. So he is, you know, the if you have the TV and you have the remote control of the TV, this is his patent actually. So you would not be able to use it without his patents and ideas. So he's an unbelievable genius guy.
There's one more I like about Nikola that I remember back of the head is he created a straw where you can just the flow only comes one way. You cannot flip it and
Yeah.
suck from the other end. He had created this looping design. It is like this, something like that. It goes. So it is, and the more you add to it, the more difficult it becomes to flow from the other side. So that has been used in many other industries. So my question about was comparison with them. What was the difference between Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla? Both these guys were amazing innovators, but what
Edison's he
did
was a
one
guy
lack?
who
Yeah.
stole some patents from Nikola Tesla. Very simple. Who he put it his label on those patents and he sold them as his own. So, but smart guys, all of them. So all of them are genius for sure. So
Are we coming back to the same point? Americans are good at business and marketing, and people who are coming from this region are specifically
exactly.
just focus on the
Yeah,
engineering
very
and
good. Yes,
technology.
exactly. This is the same point. Yes. Right.
Okay, so so you got to learn business from the Americans or get a American partner. All right, what was a life changing advice that you
Life
received?
changing. I can show you. R.
Be who you
Exactly. This is
are.
the only
Yeah.
thing. The only thing. If you want to sell something, if you want to win the lady to spend the life with you, if you want to whatever you want, just be who you are. This is the magic. And you are beautiful already. So that's the point. Don't try to be something else.
Yeah. Be yourself because the other one
Yes,
is already
you
taken.
know, but there is a lots of
Yeah.
philosophy inside because there is a philosophy to be self-confident, for example, to trust yourself, to love yourself, all these kind of things. So this means be who you
Mm.
are. Don't be afraid that you say who you are. Don't be afraid to say your opinion. This is like philosophy which it made click in my head if I got this kind of advice.
I've been working on this because that has been an issue with me also, self esteem and self confidence. I have issues of going into depression and self doubt and finding no meaning in life. I usually tell them on spaces. Um, it has become much better with medicines and many other things, but affirmations. I really came across this book called Artist Way, and one of the tools is self affirmations. Like, what do you want to do? You just
Exactly.
tell that to
Exactly.
yourself day and night, and it actually
Yes.
switches the way you think. And second thing which I did was if you read my Twitter bio, I call myself the world's best podcast host NFT artist. So yeah,
Great.
why
And
not?
you can
So
become that. Yes, you are that
there are
already. And you will become even more popular and known by that. So, yes, I totally encourage that. Yes.
so there are podcast hosts and there are NFT artists, but both these skills together, I think I'm clearly the best. I don't see anybody else. Uh, so that was a good step in increasing my
Yes,
self confidence. Instead of thinking about what others would say or does it sound too cocky, I was like, let me start believing in it, and it's actually a
yes.
fact. So why not? And that's how the be yourself, be who you are comes in. So I really like that quote and that advice. Yeah, cheers to that. By the way, how do you say
In
cheers in
German,
German?
zum Wohl. Zum Wohl. Wohl,
Sumvo.
exactly. Wohl means
Sumvo.
uh, good feeling, something like that. Like healthy, good feeling, something like that. And zum means you should have a good feeling, something like that. Zum Wohl. Feel good like that.
All right. What was the most precious gift you received as in your life?
I think my children. I have four of them, and this is the most valuable what I have. I don't have anything which is more valuable than that.
All right. Fair enough. I don't know. I'll be able to. I am not still sure on if I want to go there or no,
This
but
will
yeah, I
happen.
think that's
You will see.
many more
This will
years to
happen.
come.
Even if you don't plan, it will happen or it will not happen. Everything is okay. And so don't worry.
Yeah, but I'm very good with kids. My niece nephews really enjoy and have a good time with me. They should see. I really feel happy when they come running to me whenever they see me coming or something like that. That's a very nice
Yes.
feeling. So on basis of that, I can assume.
It's thought the
Okay.
life change in the moment as you
Uh,
become the children, get the children, the life change because your focus change. You think about the things what you are doing twice. You are doing more things for them as well, and all these things are changing in that moment.
hmm, hmm. Focus changes from yourself to them. There's somebody else
Yes,
who's more
exactly.
important than
Yes.
yourself. Maybe in those terms. Okay. What do you like to do for fun?
Blockchain to develop to programming. So I have a lots of hobbies. I love to run. You see over there. So
I was going to ask you, are
yes,
those
I run
marathon
already 9
medals?
marathons. I had to stop now due to health issues, but I'm
Wow.
training now again. I hope end of the year in Amsterdam to run the next one. So I'm doing my best in the moment to train again, to lose some weight and so on. So this is what I love. I love to develop software. I love the problems and to create the process of the creation of the solutions for the problems. And this is software development actually. And as soon as I have time, I do that. And I love to create businesses. I love to create the ideas of the businesses. And even then to implement them, some of them I implement, some of them I just write in the book. And today I have a book with, I don't know, 150 ideas. And if I check those ideas, I cannot read the idea, which I had 5 months ago, because I write it just very fast, just don't forget it. And then a couple of weeks later, I'm not able to read it, but I have it, so it's okay. So yeah, that's what I do in free time.
I also get a lot of ideas and I'm thinking of putting it out for free, like a daily tweet or a thread or a video, free
Make
business
NFT,
ideas because
make
these are
NFT
good
out of that.
ideas. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Make NFT of those business ideas. Yeah. Just a segue comment. There are so many ribbons on your
Yes,
medals there that you can actually that you can actually stitch them together and
sure.
make a
I'm
T-shirt.
not. I'm not sure how many of them there are, but I'm usually, if I'm running, I'm doing following. I had to travel a lot, and in some months ago, I traveled, or years ago, I traveled even more due to business reasons, and I tried always to combine the races and business trips. So that's why I have medals from Shanghai, from China, from, I don't know, from Dubai, from many different countries of the world, and that's why it's an international collection of medals.
But I heard the fact that person who runs marathons never gets a heart attack. I mean,
But
even
it's
one. So, what
but
are your
sorry to interrupt you,
reasons?
but it's not really true because I can tell you also the sad story. 3 years ago, I wanted to run marathon in Paris, and in order to run that marathon, you have to go to the medical check, and I did that, and they found that I have problem with my heart. And after couple of weeks
Oh
after
no.
that, or months after that, I got the pacemaker. So that's why I had to stop running, and now I'm starting again. And in October this year, I would love to run my first marathon with pacemaker. So I'm not giving up.
So the pacemaker will
you
increase your
know,
pace.
I'm hacker. I will hack it on the mobile phone or something like that. So that's why I will run like a rocket.
Let's go. So I did a 10K marathon. That's it. I still have to do full, but I'm swimming these days. So maybe on a bucket list could be an Ironman, like
This would be
swimming, running,
nice.
and cycling. Uh, but that's a long
But you
term
can do,
goal.
you can achieve that. Why not? It's okay.
You'll have to spare years, probably months or years training on that because it's a whole
It is, yes.
lifestyle, right? So many hours. The races itself is of 10, 15, 16 hours. So you have to practice 4, 5, 6 hours
I
daily
have a huge
to be
respect
in the shape.
towards Ironman and this kind of races. Huge respect. Even marathon is very difficult, but if I have to add on top cycling and swimming, I don't know. I could not do that. So it would be very difficult for me.
All right. What's on your bucket list
I want to
next?
go to Africa to see the gorillas in the real life. This is what I want to do. I'm even in the moment looking about the possibilities how to make the traveling and everything. I wanted to do that 2 years ago, but then we had a COVID and everything has to stop. But now I'm planning. I will do that.
So you want to see the
But
apes getting
real one,
bored.
not the JPEGs, but in real life. I will do that. Yes.
Okay. Um, what is your favorite
Dead
movie?
Poet Society. Professor Keating. Check this
Yeah.
movie if you have a chance. This is
What is your?
beautiful movie, really.
I have seen it, but I'm not able to record it back of the head. These group go in a tunnel after the school and share poems with each other. That's all I can remember. But I have to rewatch it once
It's a
again to.
beautiful movie
Uh,
about a professor teaching poetry, English poetry, and teaching, let's say, the guys to become the real mans, like, with everything what is belonging, respect, and all those values which you have to have in the life. So it's really, really good. Nice movie.
awesome. What is your favorite food?
I told you a couple of seconds ago that I have to lose some weight. This means I love everything. I love Indian food, curries. I love them. Butter chicken. I I was eating it every day in Dubai as I lived. I love Thai food. I could die for Thai food. So I love everything. From food is my thing.
So you
I
like
like
spicy more,
Indian
more.
spicy. This is different.
So not that German. What is your favorite German dish?
Bratwurst.
What does your wife cook the
Bratwurst,
best? Huh?
but it's not. There is a specialty called bratwurst. It's a barbecue, and it's a piece of meat actually, and it's great. I love it, but it's not really cooked. It's just like a barbecue on the it's a meat. But my wife is cooking very good. You cannot see it now on the camera, but I can tell you. And we are cooking at home more internationally because I love to cook as well. She learned to cook Croatian and Serbian dishes as well. So that's why we are trying to cook everything, more or less, internationally.
All right. And Hamburg is also a very
Yes.
multicultural city, I believe. It's the tech, the financial
Actually,
center, tech center
no.
of
Actually, it's a
Germany.
harbor, one of the biggest and most important harbors in Germany and even in Europe and surrounding. And because of that, we have a lots of people coming from abroad, lots of people, lots of foreigners, and so on. And this created a very special flair of the city, very international. And everybody's welcome, and you have lots of international parties and happenings, events, and so on. Cultural, it's a very developed city. There are so many different exhibitions, and music is very big in the city, and this kind of of things. So I think it's even maybe the cultural center of the Germany, I would like to say, even more than Berlin from my point of view.
Yeah, both are on my bucket list. Let's plan in definitely in couple of years. Can we host you said
Yes.
galleries, right? So is it possible to plan in maybe coming months a gallery in Germany, in Hamburg, for the audience whom we connect on spaces who would like to exhibit?
I have to check. I'm not that involved in the happenings, and I don't know the owners of the gallery, but I know people which could know somebody. So we can talk about that. Sure,
Hmm.
why not?
Awesome. All right. What are you curious about?
Technologies, solving of the problems, technological problems, creating solutions. I'm very curious about that. I want to know how the things are working. As I was small, I was opening the radios and TVs in order to see what's going on inside. And if I put them back together, I had always some parts which were not really needed somehow, maybe. So I love to understand how the things are working. That's what I am curious about.
What gets you excited about the future?
Uh, yeah, I'm expecting that the future will be good. I'm optimistic because in the moment everybody thinks, of course, there is a war going on in Ukraine, there is a bad crisis in the financial environment, and it's very difficult to be optimistic and positive. I see the things which are very optimistic. I see the startups which are created like never before. I see the ideas which are coming up, popping up like never before. I see the new technologies and new concepts of the businesses like never before. And we just need to jump on that train and it will be good. And I'm excited about that future, which I think to see at least.
Yeah, there's so much to look forward to with these technologies coming in. It just opens up a new horizon and a space to work on and to be the first person in there and have the first movers advantage. So I
Yeah.
totally agree with that. So you mentioned about war. Germany comes in the news many times because of the oil pipeline from Russia and these things. So how are things in Germany? And I really have to appreciate people of Germany for giving space or home to so many Ukrainian people who had to leave their countries and come. I know many people who are still living in Germany who are artists and who I get to interact to on spaces. So hats off for that. But in general, how is the economy or the situation there in relation to the war and
Very difficult
overall?
question. So I can again just give you my view, let's say, about everything because probably the other people may have different views. So first, I think whatever kind of violence is created towards other people, that's not good. Whoever is doing it in whatever country. So definitely, I'm very pacifistic. I'm for the peace and for the love and for the cooperation and for all these things. And I don't like if somebody is doing something bad towards other people. That's one very important point. And I try to surround myself with the people which see the things same like I do, which are fighting for the peace and which are not fighting for the political, targets or whatever. So for me, it's important be who you are, have a freedom to do what you want to do, to say what you want to say, and that's it. And keep, let's say, peace on the planet. That's what I like. Happily, or I have to be, or I am happy to be able to find many people around me which are thinking on the same way. So there are lots of people which are thinking like I am thinking, and I think these are the people which will create the better future. So that's why I can just give you advice. Surround yourself with people which see, not to you advice, but generally to our audience. Surround yourself with people which are, let's say, peaceful and optimistic, and which are pushing you to your heights to help you to move forward, and not surround yourself not with people which are, pulling you back with the dark things and bad situation and, all these kind of things. Generally speaking, I see very positive environment in Germany. I see young people which don't care about politics and all these kind of things, which want the same, they see the same values like I do, and I think they will push the country even more in the good future. So that's what I see.
Amazing. So, for viewers who are listening to you, who could be your potential customers who are looking forward for fiscal or solutions like that, what would you like to say them, and what all things can you help them out?
I can just share with them the vision which I have. So, and this is the way how I'm managing my company and how I'm creating the company. I using that vision to do that. So my vision is that the companies like, for example, Tesco are calling me and asking me, "Hey, Darko, we have to open the store in Zimbabwe. Can you help us?" Only that fact means following. This means that they accept us as somebody who has the knowledge to be able to help them. This means they recognize our specialities, our knowledge, our experiences, and everything what we have. And we are working towards that target. We are not yet there. Of course, many company already knows us, but I would like to earn that respect from those big companies and those people. And that's the vision which we have. Okay, this is, I think, the big vision and how everybody is fighting in our company for.
Absolutely. Let's get the message across as many places as possible. Uh, One more thing on the same lines, you mentioned about POS solution. I mean, I'm just seeing your LinkedIn post, and there are a couple of posts related to POS solutions, cloud POS solution. What does that mean,
Yes.
and how is it in fiscal
Yeah,
environment?
the problem of the fiscal environment, let's say, or different laws which are existing in different countries, is that those laws are sometimes forcing the retailers to use the certain hardware components. So you have to install a piece of hardware which is doing, like a wallet, for example, digital signature of every transaction. If you have this kind of piece of hardware, then it's very difficult to install the software somewhere in the cloud and then to use the local installed hardware. So this is a big issue. So what we are working in the moment, we are working on the solutions, technical solutions, where you can connect to those fiscal devices, how we call them, in the stores out of the cloud. So this means you have the cloud installed maybe somewhere in data center in Germany or whatever, and your store is running, for example, in Honduras or in India or in Thailand or wherever. And if the government is forcing the companies to use the hardware, for example, fiscal hardware in those countries, our solution should be able to use that, to do that. And you can imagine that there are lots of problems which are related to that, challenges like internet connections, like backup of the data, and to ensure that data are transmitted and all these kind of things. So we are now doing the migration of our solution into the cloud environment so that we are able to do that, everything what we are using or doing today on the local level, to do it in the cloud.
Very interesting. So that leads me to one other
Sure.
question. Which country is infamous for doing it? China putting in their own components in the products that they create and shipping it and spying on people and stuff like that. Have you had an experience of working with the Chinese companies
Yes.
or
So
doing something in
yes,
China?
China. I was personally several times in China. I am even learning Chinese, so just to show you, because I
By the way, before you answer
yes,
that, do Chinese people write code in Mandarin or in English?
there are two different ways. You can write the traditional letters, let's say, and then it's a Mandarin traditional letters, or you can write in Pinyin, or how they call them. It's a Latin letters which are like pronunciation of the signs of Chinese signs. So if you are learning Chinese, you have to learn both.
No, I'm talking about coding. The
Ah,
software is written in which language?
English for sure, of course, because programming language is English.
S- that's common all around the
Yes.
world, even though it's China.
Sometimes they
Okay.
comment in Chinese, and this can be a problem. So if you see the commands, but it's okay. Yeah, but
All
coming
right.
back
So
to
coming back
China,
to the
yes.
question, yeah.
To be honest, first time I was in China 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. And I was very, very surprised how developed that country is. In the western part of the world, I thought, or we think in the western part of the world that China is not that developed. But as I was there, as I saw the robots which are serving me in the restaurant, as I saw the trains which are running like rockets around, let's say, with some kind of advertisement on the windows and these kind of fancy things, I was so surprised. And then I saw the cars, which are same like our cars, very modern and beautiful and everything fine. But those brands, I never heard about them. So these are the brands which are just local, let's say. Then I understood first, the country is very, very developed. Second, they don't need us. We need them, basically, for sure. And these guys are very, very smart, and we can learn a lot from them. So I was there for several weeks and months even to understand how their businesses are run over there. I had several companies which teach me how the retail is done over there, because we created a certain kind of consultancies so that we are consulting the retailers which want to open the store in China, how to do it, because there are very special laws over there, technical laws, which are influencing the technology of the retailer. And somebody has to tell the retailer, if you want to open the store in China, be careful, you have to do it like this and that in order to be compliant with those laws which are existing there. So we learned that, we create the consulting packages around the China, and today we are helping the retailers if they want to open the stores over there. So I'm very,
Wow.
it's a beautiful country. The people are great. So
So you have a great reach. How many countries are you operating in?
from the company point of view, we have the solution for 22 countries plus metaverse, which we are doing now. So it's a
Wow.
quite a good base.
China is amazing. I got to interact with some very smart people over there. I did a exhibition that I curated an exhibition in China called Colors
I
of
know, I
Joy,
know. We were part
which you
of
might
that.
have seen following. Yeah, you have participated
Yeah.
in. So that was one of the way for entrance in China and presenting works there. And I really want to give shout out to the team of Neil Gallery and the team that developed DOID. That's also another innovation. So through channel of Web3s and art, we are able to bridge gaps between China and other outside world, which had barriers because of language or several other reasons of politics or the restrictions on apps they use, and so on and so forth. So yeah, cheers to that. I hope everything gets better. Uh, Next question is regarding security.
Yes.
So what India has done, I don't know about other things, but even though Chinese have amazing apps and products, 100 or so apps are banned in India, like TikTok and all. And Joe Rogan was telling on his podcast about what all permission TikTok takes on your phone when you sign in, right from seeing your what patterns of actions you use to reading your file names to reading the file types and so apps you have installed and even having access to a different computer that is not connected to TikTok. So, do you what do you think about this? What is your stand on this about
I
using
will
this or not
tell
using
you
this? Or
something now. Maybe the audience will kill me after that, but I usually see some things maybe a little bit different. I will show you what I'm using to read my books. This is Kindle. You know it from sure from Amazon. This is American company Amazon producing such a readers, and I'm using it. So this means American guys knows exactly what I'm reading, when I'm using it, and so on. Point one. Point two, this is GPS watch which I'm using for running. It's a GPS based. GPS is, you know, who is the owner of the satellites, GPS. So this means the guys who are owning the satellites know exactly when I'm running, how I'm running, what I'm doing, and so on. And I'm even tracking my food and calories and everything in there because it's okay for me. So this means what I wanted to show you, there is a no chance today to isolate yourself unless you don't accept the technology which is around you. Even then, it will be difficult because if you walk around, your neighbor has a camera maybe which is connected over internet, which is from the security point of view tracking, you know, what's happening in front of his door. So this means no other way than either you are connected or 100% disconnected. If you disconnect, you will not be able to live on a normal life anymore because you want to be part of the what's happening. You want to check what's going on social networks. You want to send a message to your mother, father, friend, and so on. And this is happening online. Whatever is happening online can be tracked. There is no anonymity in the space. Even if you think that the blockchain is something where you can use it anonymously, you can't. Because in order to access internet, you need internet provider. An internet provider knows exactly on which address you live, who you are, and what you're doing in internet. So what we are talking about bad Chinese, about bad Americans, about bad Germans, it's, you know,
it's all
it's everything same. So it's our free choice to decide, shall we be part of the technology and the world as it is today or not? That's it. Only thing that sorry, just to finish one point. Only thing which I think it's really not fair, it's not fair not to tell the people that you are doing that. So if Amazon is taking my data, I should know that it's like that. And I should accept it and I should tell them, fine, do it. Then it's okay. But if they are stealing my data, I don't like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, totally. And to ordinary people who don't really go into that agreement and nobody signs and reads everything, so getting off the internet is not a choice because for living, and it's become
You
very
need it.
essential.
Yes.
So, ensure, like, how would you strike a balance between being secure and not being under the pressure of being watched?
Education is the key. You should learn how to delete some things. You should learn that there are cookies on your system and that you can delete them. And if you delete them, nobody can track what you're doing, at least partially not. And if you know how the things are working, you know which button you should press in order to give the rights that somebody is using your data or not. So the key is the knowledge. That's what I see.
What do you think about VPNs and the Tor system of connecting to the internet?
There are two views, let's say. First, it's good to use them. It's okay because partially they are making you more or less hidden. Let's call it like that. So you could feel more safe to do something because people will not know that you are actually behind. But never forget, at your home or with your mobile phone, in order to connect with any kind of VPN tunnel, you have to use the internet provider. An internet provider knows that Professor John Keating, Darko Pavic is just now dialing in and using getting the IP address and using the internet. So this means the VPNs are partially okay, but then they will not save you. Let me give you a short story. I will do commit what is the right word. I will tell you the story how I paid a fine because I watched the movie which I downloaded from the internet. Okay, it was movie called, I forgot the name. Never mind. So it was a movie that I downloaded, great one. I watched it. couple of weeks after that, I got the fine, 300 euro, because I downloaded via some kind of torrent tool, and I was using VPN, definitely, but it didn't help me because the internet provider knew my IP address, and it was easy to connect the IP address with physical address, and it was easy to track back who downloaded the software. And I paid the fine.
And so VPN is basically having your IP to some other computer which is accessing the internet. But when it comes to Tor, it bounces off many different IPs and it sort of gets lost bouncing in it. So, what are your views on Tor? It is a bit slow, but
I'm
even
using it
then.
from time to time, and it's good. But you should not think that if something, let's say, more criminal is happening around you and around that connection, that people cannot track you. Everybody can track you as well. So, but not the normal user. So I could not be able to track somebody who is using Tor, but some specialists and some real good guys, police or whomever, they would be able to track back and to find the IP address, even if you're using Tor.
Hmm. Yeah. So you're being watched no matter what. Be careful in what you do. They can be
Yes.
used for things that are having political restrictions or something like that, for freedom of speech or some regular things that you want to do anonymously. So that's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think freedom of speech is very important, but it has to be respectful. It's okay to say whatever you like, whatever you want, but with respect to other people, to other humans, to other, whatever. So that's why I'm not afraid to say what I mean, but I'm very careful where am I saying what. If I used to live for 6 years in Dubai, of course, and there are some points where I don't agree with the Dubai government, but on the other side, I love the Dubai and the way how you are able to live over there. So there are always positive and negative things. But I didn't go around and telling everybody I don't like this, I don't like that. Why should I do that? It's my free choice to decide if I want to live in that country or not. It was my choice. Some other people maybe don't have a choice. This is differently. But I had a choice. So that's why, freedom of speech, yes, but with respect.
All right, let's talk about metaverse. You mentioned metaverse many times. What is your view on metaverse and where it's heading? First of all, metaverse has got many meanings and definitions. What is your meaning and definition?
I love that. Metaverse is for me the virtual environment with social and economic components. Combined at the end with a new way of entertainment in order to attract the people. And that's it. So it's a virtual environment with social and economic components with entertainment used to attract the people. And this is for me metaverse.
But how is it different from Web 2?
Uh, this is a big
Because the same, all
misunderstanding.
those things that you said can be done with Web 2 or Web 2.5 also, right?
This is big misunderstanding. Metaverse doesn't mean that it's Web 3. There are metaverses which are totally Web 2. For example, from Facebook, from Meta. It's totally Web 2 because it's controlled by one company. It's not. It's centralized. It's everything what is typical for Web 2. But it's still metaverse. It's still virtual environment with social components and economical topics and issues, and with entertainment inside. On the other side, you have, or other example would be Roblox. It's also not Web 3. On the other side, you have typical examples like Decentraland or Sandbox, which are actually metaverses, which are Web 3 because they are decentralized and even on the blockchain and so on. So this means if you're talking about metaverse, you should not how to say it, mix it with Web 2 or Web 3. These are totally different areas.
Okay. All right. So, how do you see it evolving? Should we really wait for the goggles to come in or just
I,
access it?
I think no need to wait for the 3D glasses or something like that to help you to see the virtual reality or augmented reality. Already now you can use it. If you take the sandbox, for example, you can jump into the sandbox and you are able to run the business over there. You are able to entertain yourself, to enjoy the concerts, to talk to people, and so on. So I think the technology that we have today is already enough to create this kind of social feelings and everything around it. Of course, the level of enjoyment will be higher if the systems are more immersive, if you can really enjoy everything as if you were there. So this is, of course, more nice, let's say. But the technology is already far away, and the concepts can already now be implemented.
Awesome. All right. So it was a great conversation with you. Many more topics and rabbits hole to uncover further. Um, and you talked about metaverse. I want to say you and the audience. I've been working on a project with 3D objects. So you could use those 3D objects and put in your metaverse. Show it there. It can be also used as an AR, as a filter. So that will be a stay tuned. Follow Instagram and Twitter
Nice.
to see the updates on that. But it's fun, silly, and humor. I like to add comedy in that. So that is there in this. Thank you so much, Professor, for sharing your insights. It was really great having you and knowing about so many things today. So thank you so much. What are your parting words for the audience today?
What are you, what? The last sentence or something like that, you mean, right?
Parting words. How would you like to conclude, or anything
Yeah.
you want to conclude and say the audience?
Here.
Yeah.
Be who you are. No, first, thank you very much. It was really, really nice to talk to you. I enjoyed it a lot. So we discussed lots of interesting topics, and I think we could continue the discussion for further 2 hours or something like that because the topics are so exciting. And you have so many experiences as well, especially on the artistic part, which I'm not good at all. So it would be great combination for further 2 hours, I'm sure. Thank you very much for that. For the audience, I would just like to say, be who you are. Don't be afraid to be who you are. Fight for that who you are because you are good. You are really, really good. Don't forget that. Don't let the people tell you that you are not good enough or whatever. Forget that. Just fight, go for that. And like you said a couple of minutes ago, let's go.
Let's go. All right. Do you want to hear do you want to hear some jokes?
With let's go.
Uh, why did the bored ape cross the road?
Okay. I don't know.
To get to the NFT convention on the other side.
We were there a couple of weeks ago, days ago. Okay, second trip. So yes, right.
What do you call a group of bored apes?
Tell me.
A decentralized collective.
Very good. Yes, that's we are. That's what we are. Yes. Okay.
One
Great.
last one. What
Good.
did the bored ape say when he got a new pair of shoes?
Okay. What?
Meh, they are not comfortable as my digital fur.
That's true. That's true. Let's go.
Let's go. I wanted to keep that bored face, but I couldn't stop smiling. But yeah. All right.
Great.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. See you around, and I'll add links to the course below. And we will stay tuned. A lot of exciting things happening. We have special spaces on new topics every Saturday. So join in on Saturday. This Saturday we are doing April's Fool is there, right? First, so we're having a comedy art special, and then week after that is going to be dark art special, then spiritual, then 3D and charity. So these are special spaces designed for 2 hours with expert OGs and collectors coming in for that particular segment. That will also be a space recording, so you can get featured and come along. I have been hosting spaces that we have been seeing for over a year. It's been around 60 weeks of doing that. So the regular space is also going on. I invite you to join in whenever you can, and invite all the viewers to join in to have a direct contact with me, or if you want to ask any question to both of us, feel free to do that. And join the Rocklaz Club. You don't want to miss out on that lifetime membership. Those people registering now will get a 50% discount from the mint date. So join in. A lot of things coming in. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you. See you.